Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Foreign Correspondent Club of Japan. My name is Karin Nishimura. I'm a member of the PAC committee who is organizing a press conference, and I'm also journalist for a French radio station Radio France, as well as a French newspaper Libération. Today, we will talk about a very difficult matter, which is the case of abuse and neglect in daycare, kids daycare in Japan. And among our guests, we have a mother of Emiri Chan, who was a victim of an accident in a daycare center. So it's a rare occasion to listen to someone who is a victim, the mother of a victim of that kind of accident. We have three speakers today. Previously, we were thinking of 4 speakers, but unfortunately, the father of Emiri Chan was unable to come today, but we have her mother, Yamaguchi-san. We have also the lawyer Akira Senju-san, and a journalist that you maybe already know, Inokuma sensei, Inokuma-san, who is a specialist of child care in Japan. She's working on that matter since more than 20 years and maybe 30 years. Yes. So one of the more important specialists of this situation in Japan. And she also knows very well the case we will talk today, as well the general situation in Japan. So Inokuma-san will first of all, explain the broad situation, and then we will have a short speech of Yamaguchi-san will explain the case of Emiri Chan, what happened, and as a... Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Foreign Correspondent Club. And what she's seeking now, and how she sees the situation. And also we will have... Akira Senju sensei explaining more generally the justice involved in this situation. So please, Inokuma-san, yes. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you for introducing me. Hello everyone, my name is Hiroko Inokuma. I'm a freelance journalist and associate member of here, FCCJ. And I've been reporting for more than 30 years, specializing in matters related to children and child care. I now also teach at universities that train child care professionals. I have been covering child deaths in child care facilities for 22 years, since 2001. Today, the mother of a child who died in a very bad child care facility in Utsunomiya City, Tochigi Prefecture in 2014, will speak to you. ここから日本語ですみません、説明させていただきます。まずこの事件の概要と、この事件に関する日本の保育制度についてお話ししようと思います。
So before going into the specific case, I will first give you an overview of the case and talk about the Japanese childcare system in relation to the accident.
2014年の7月26日です。栃木県の宇都宮市内にあった認可外保育施設で、宿泊保育を受けていた山口エミリちゃん、この写真の可愛い女の子ですね、9ヶ月でしたが、死亡しました。
On July 26, 2014, Emiri Yamaguchi, then 9-month-old baby, the photo of her now is shown on the screen, very cute baby, died while receiving overnight care at a non-registered daycare facility in Utsunomiya City, Tochigi Prefecture.
エミリちゃんが過ごしていたこの部屋ですけども、エアコンがあったんですけど電源が入っていなくて、熱中症の症状が出ていたにもかかわらず放置されてしまい亡くなりました。
The air conditioner in the room where Emiri was spending her time at the time was not turned on, and she died after being left unattended, despite showing symptoms of heat stroke.
司法解剖の結果、死因は熱中症で、この施設の経営者がこの大人用のワイシャツなどで子どもをぐるぐる巻きにして動けないようにしていたということも分かりました。
And the autopsy revealed that the cause of death was heat stroke, and that the manager of that facility had wrapped her up in an adult shirt so that she could not move.
山口さんのご両親はこの施設の見学会にも参加していました。預ける前に参加していて、良い施設だというふうに信じて、エミリちゃんを預けています。でもその施設の見学会というのが後で事件の、この亡くなった後いろいろ調べてですね、全て嘘だったということも分かっています。
The Emiri-chan's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Yamaguchi, had participated in a tour of the facility before deciding to leave Emiri in their care, in the belief that it was a good facility. But later, after the incident, discovered that all of the care provided during the tour was just a lie.
日本の今の保育施設にはですね、認可保育所と認可外の保育所というのがあります。保育所ですね。で、認可保育所というのは都道府県が認可して、基礎自治体というのは市区町村ですけども、そちらあるいはその基礎自治体から委託を受けた民間の事業者が設置したものです。
And there are two types of child care facilities in Japan. One registered child care centers, and the other non-registered child care centers. And registered child care centers are authorized by the prefectural government and set up by basic municipalities, that is, cities, wards, towns, and villages, or private operators commissioned by the municipalities.
また今ではその基礎自治体が認可しているというこの小規模な保育施設というのもあります。
Nowadays, there are also small-scale child care facilities authorized by municipalities.
他にもその幼稚園と保育所の機能を持ち合わせている認定こども園という制度も、そういう施設もありまして、そちらも認可施設の中に入っています。
There are also certified children's centers that combine the functions of a kindergarten and child care center, which are also registered facilities.
でそれ以外の施設は認可外の保育所、あるいは無認可ということをいうふうに言う時もありますけれども、そういった認可外あるいは無認可の保育施設で、一応基準はあるんですけども、届け出さえすれば誰でも預けることができるという、誰でも簡単に運営することができるようになっています。
And other facilities are non-registered child care facilities, which are subject to certain standards but can be operated by anyone as long as they are notified to the local government.
でこのエミリちゃんが亡くなった施設もその認可外の保育施設で、届け出を受け付けて、立ち入り調査などの調査をする義務があるのは、この施設のある宇都宮市でした。
And the facility where Emiri died was one of these non-registered child care facilities, and it was the city of Utsunomiya who was obliged to accept that notification and conduct on-site inspections.
エミリちゃんが亡くなる前に、宇都宮市にはこの施設で虐待が行われているという情報が2件寄せられていました。
And prior to Emiri's death, Utsunomiya City had received 2 reports of abuse at this facility.
一つは 預けた子どもが爪を剥がされたという情報、もう一つは子どもを毛布でぐるぐる巻きにして紐で縛って動けないようにしているっていうものでした。
One of a child having his nails ripped off, and the other one of wrapping the child in blankets and tying her up with strings so that child cannot move.
ですけども、宇都宮市はその立ち入り調査するときに事前に施設に連絡をしてしまって簡単な調査しか行わなかったので、虐待が行われているという事実を発見することができませんでした。
However, Utsunomiya City was unable to discover the abuse because it had notified the facility of the inspection in advance and only conducted a very brief investigation.
エミリちゃんが亡くなった後、山口さん夫妻がご夫婦でインターネットなどで何かその虐待の情報がないかということを集めたんですね。すると関係者からこういった写真が集めることができました。こういう写真が関係者から実際に寄せられました。ちょっとひどい写真ですけども、これ後で必要でしたらいつでもお渡しすることできます。
And after Emiri's death, Mr. and Mrs. Yamaguchi gathered information on the internet and other sources about possible abuses of the children who were in the care of this facility, and received these photos like this from concerned parties. And it's very hard to look at these photos. And if you're interested in, please let us know. We may be able to hand the data to you.
Yes. あと現在日本では保育事故が起きてしまったときにですね、その後に自治体が速やかに第三者による検証委員会を開いて、事故に関する検証を行うということが義務付けられています。
Currently in Japan, after a childcare accident occurs, local governments are required to promptly convene a third-party verification committee to conduct a review of the incident.
しかしこのエミリちゃんの事件については、宇都宮市は内部の関係者による検証だけを行おうとしていて、検証委員会はいまだに開かれていません。そのこと非常に大きな問題だと思っています。
However, in the case of Emiri's incident, Utsunomiya City is still trying to conduct a verification by internal parties only, and has yet to conduct an independent third-party review. I think this is a very serious problem.
私からは以上です。
That is it from me. Thank you.
はい、ありがとうございます。Our interpreter today is Mieko Fujioka. ありがとうございます。次は山口愛様をお願いします。
In July 2014, we lost our beloved daughter to heat stroke. We later discovered that she died as a result of abuse at her daycare center. Through the investigation, we found that the city of Utsunomiya also bore responsibility for this incident. Although the court recognized Utsunomiya's responsibility, the city has refused to allow an external third-party verification committee to investigate. We are asking for a verification committee to be held by third parties with no vested interest in Utsunomiya City, as we want to know the truth. This is because it is highly likely that the truth will not come out through a verification process involving only experts with ties to Utsunomiya City. Would you expect the family members of a guilty party to honestly reveal all the details of their crime during an investigation? This is similar to what Utsunomiya City is trying to do. We later learned that this daycare center had been problematic in terms of safety for over 10 years of operation. Although Utsunomiya City knew about these problems, they turned a blind eye. Utsunomiya City enforced strict regulations on other daycare centers in stark contrast to this facility. This and the fact that all the officials in charge of managing the daycare center at the time of the incident have not only avoided demotion, but have been promoted is highly unusual, as well as the father of the owner of the daycare center being a former prefectural assembly member. This is why we suspect collusion between the daycare and Utsunomiya City. All we ask is that a fair verification committee be established so that the truth can be revealed in full. This is our foremost wish. Additionally, we call on the Japanese government to pass legislation on investigation of accidents rather than leaving it to the administrative organs.
はい、ありがとうございました。引き続き千住明先生、何か冒頭の宇都宮市の対応について。
弁護士の千住と言います。私はですね、宇都宮市で弁護士をしておりまして、今回の事件ではもっぱら宇都宮市との折衝ですね、宇都宮市との関係で代理人として事件に当たっているということになります。
Hi, my name is Senju, and I'm an attorney at law in Utsunomiya City. And in this particular case, I represent my client solely in the negotiations with the city.
で今回ですね、宇都宮市が検証、この事件について自己的な検証をするということを言っているんですが、その方法等に問題があるということで、今どのような検証をするかということについて宇都宮市と交渉しているところです。
The city of Utsunomiya has said that they are going to do the the verification of the facts about the incident. However, we think that there are problems with the methodology that they are going to employ about this verification committee. So what kind of verification should the city conduct is the subject on which I have been conducting some negotiations with the city.
具体的なですね、宇都宮市がやろうとしていることの問題点というのは2つございまして、まず1つはですね、もう、裁判所で、判決が出ていて確定しているんですが、その裁判所の判断が出ているから、新たな事実の調査は基本的にしないということで、になります。
And we think there are two specific problems with the way the city is trying to conduct this verification. Firstly, since there have already been the verdicts handed down by the court in this particular incident, the city says that they are not going to do any new investigation of the facts.
でもう一つの問題点は、検証をする、組織ですね、検証委員会の事務局が宇都宮市の子ども部という部署があるんですが、その部の職員が担当するということになっているということです。今回問題を起こしたのが、その子ども部の保育課の職員、また組織として子ども部保育課というのが問題になっているんですが、その同じ部署の人間が、検証自体にかなり深く関与するということが非常に問題ではないかというふうに考えています。
The second problem is with this structure and organization of this verification committee. And the city said that the secretariat for this verification committee will be established in the children's department of the city of Utsunomiya. However, it is this city's children's department and the child care division under it that are now called into question with regard to their response to this incident itself. Therefore, the fact that this particular department of the city is going to be deeply involved in the verification itself is problematic.
はい、ありがとうございました。じゃあ、質問、we will now take a question from the floor as well as a question from online people watching online. If you have any question, please come next near the microphone. Tell your name as well as your affiliation. Any question? The floor. どうぞ。
すいません。
マイクの近くに、はい、お願いします。
下野新聞の、はい、
大丈夫です。
大丈夫ですか。
はい、
下野新聞の藤田と申します。お世話になります。まず、千住先生にお聞きしたいんですけれども、この検証委員会に、この市の職員、子ども部の人が関与というか、入っていることが問題点であるということなんですけれども、他の自治体だったり、この保育事故、全国で、他にも事故っていっぱいあると思うんですけれども、そういった時のこの検証委員会というのは、当該の自治体の人たちが一切入らないものが、当たり前なのか、あとはこの検証委員会の人数構成だったり、なんですかね、そこに何人中何人入っている市の関係者が入っているとかが分かりましたら教えてください。
This is Fujita from Shimotsuke Shimbun newspaper. My question is for attorney Mr. Senju. So you said that the fact that the city's staff are involved in the verification committee is problematic. But what about the other municipalities? Whenever this kind of child care incident occurs and verification committee is to be established, is it the normal practice that the staff of the city or the municipality are not involved in the verification committee's work? And also, what about the composition of the committee? And what percentage of the city staff in terms of this particular verification committee that is going to be established by the city?
はい、まずですね、最初の点ですね、他の自治体ではどうかということ、あと一般的にはどうかということだったと思うんですが、ちょっと他の自治体の事例についてはですね、私の方ではちょっと把握はしていないところなんですが、一応国のですね、内閣府が出している通達がありまして、それによれば、確かに今回であれば宇都宮市が調査主体となって行うということまでは、通達に、規定されているということになります。で、ただですね、今回、私どもが
どうぞ。
すみません。
Okay, so about the first question about the examples in other municipalities, I don't have any examples with me right now, but generally speaking, there is a notice that is issued by the state, by the cabinet office, about the establishing this kind of verification committee after such incidents. And according to that notice, yes, indeed, the city of Utsunomiya can take an initiative to establish this verification committee.
ただですね、今回私どもが問題視しているのは、その宇都宮市の中でも、同じ子ども部という同じ部署、もしくはかなり、近しい密接な関係にある部署の職員が、 その検証委員会に入っているというところを特に問題視しているということになります。
However, what we think particularly problematic is that the staff members of the children's department of the city of Utsunomiya will be deeply involved in the work of the verification committee, and these staff members have been deeply involved in the administration of child care services in the city.
でもう一つのですね、質問の中にもう一つあったと思うんですが、その市の職員がどのようにこの検証委員会に関与してくるのかというところがご質問にあったと思うんですが、基本的にはですね、5名の委員ですねを宇都宮市の方で選びまして、でその委員が検証委員会を構成するということにはなるんですが、その委員だけでやるのではなくって、事務局としてですね、さまざまな、準備であるとか、資料の作成であるとか、報告書の作成であるとか、再発防止策の措置までですね、行うということになっているということが、宇都宮市の職員がかなり、同じ部署の職員がかなり深く関与するということが予定されているということになります。
And to your second question, how the staff members of this city and the Department of Children will be involved in this work. The 5 members will be selected by the city to serve on this committee, but there will be also secretariat to be established to serve the work of this committee in preparing various things, preparing documents and materials, and preparing a report, and also preparing the measures for prevention of the similar cases from happening in the future. Therefore, on a very deep basis, the staff of the same department of the city will be involved in the work of the committee.
はい、Inokumaさん、何か追加。
はい、私からも一つちょっと追加をさせてください。
So let me also supplement what has been already answered.
私もある保育事故の第三者の検証委員会に入ったことがございます、これまでに。
I have experience of serving in one of the third-party verification committee to investigate one incident, child care incident.
で他にもいろんな自治体の報告書などはかなりたくさん見て、どういうメンバーが入っているかということはこれまで見てきています。
I've also read many reports issued by the municipalities about these verification committees, and I have seen the composition of membership of those committees, for example.
でほとんどの自治体でやはり速やかに第三者の検証委員会を開いて検証してきているというのが実態です。
And in reality, most of the municipalities do set up the verification committee as soon as the incident occurs.
ただそれがその自治体の考え方にdepends on というか、その自治体の考え方にすごく影響されているなというふうに感じることもあります。
But I do feel that on many occasions, it is really up to the thinking and the policy of the municipality in question.
で自治体が検証委員会を開くのにやはりお金がかかるんですよね。ですので議会にかけなければいけないっていう、そういうすごくもう実務的な問題もやはり起きています。
And when a verification committee is to be established, and that costs some money, and the city administration will have to ask the city assembly to pass a resolution to approve of such costs. So there are some practical issues involved.
もちろん例えば公立の施設で事故が起きて、そしたらその市が例えばその自治体が中心になって検証委員会を開くというのはやはり内部だっていうふうに思われることもあるかなというふうに思います。
However, if an accident occurs in a public facility, and if the city takes an initiative and plays a leading role in setting up and organizing a verification committee, that may be seen as some internal affairs.
ですけどもやはりその自治体がどれだけ誠意を持ってその事件に対応するかということがやはりそこにすごく大きく関わってくるというふうに思います。
But I think what really decides on how the verification committee is established is really depending on the will and the will of the municipality to what extent they would like to truthfully and sincerely respond to such an accident.
ですので私自身も検証員に入ったところというのは全く関係のない、ところで、そこの町の方たちが本当にちゃんと検証したいっていう意欲がものすごくあるところで検証をすることになりました。
So in my case of serving on one of the verification committee, I had no relationship whatsoever with that particular municipality, but the people at that municipality were so keen to have me on the verification committee.
でこのエミリちゃんの事件というのは本当にもう前代稀に見る凶悪なひどい保育の事故の事件、事故というか保育の事件だと私は思っていますので、やはり宇都宮市は誠意を持ってきちんとした形で検証をしなければならない、もうそういう義務があるというふうに感じます。
And this case of Emiri is one of the really bad, awful child care incidents that you really rarely see in other places. And I think it should be called incident rather than accident. Therefore, I think the Utsunomiya city is obliged to respond to this case with full sincerity.
はい、ありがとうございます。他の質問ありますか？はい、どうぞ。
こんにちは。安心ジャパンの記者をしています岩本と申します。よろしくお願いします。今回の事件についてその2014年に2件の通報があってから7月26日に今回の事件が起こったと思うんですけど、その2014年に2件の通報があった後に宇都宮市の子ども部だと思うんですけど、その担当者が調査に立ち入った、でも事前報告をしてしまった、その人たちはまだ今回調査委員会第3調査委員会に関わる人たちとまだ関係があるのかとか、今回開こうとされている第三者調査委員会に実際関わっているのかという質問をさせていただきたいです。
And this is Iwamoto from Anshin, Japan. So you said that in 2014, before Emiri's death, there were two reports about the abuses at the facility. And on July 26, Emiri-chan unfortunately died. So after receiving these two reports in 2014, the city of Utsunomiya actually conducted an inspection at the facility, but informed the facility in prior to the inspection that they are going to inspect the facility. What about those people who are from the children's department, I believe, of the city? Are they still involved in this verification committee affairs too, in one way or another?
山口さんどうぞ。
私が聞いてる限りは、公務員って 年度ごとに部署が変わるみたいで、何年に何回っていうので変わってるみたいなんですけど、それで市のその市役所内では働いてるんですけど、部署は変わったりしているかと思います。
Well, as far as I know, the public servants in municipalities rotate their roles and the units and departments that they work for every few years. So those people who are at that time involved in the inspection in the city, although they are still working in the city hall, but in different departments as far as I understand.
ありがとうございます。あともう一つ質問があるんですけど、具体的に今回の第3調査委員会が、何を求めて調査をするのかって聞きたくて、その裁判中に出てきた証拠とかの調査もあったと思うんですけど、そこで未解決のままいまだに残っている問題があるのかとか、具体的に今回は何を追求しているのかについて教えていただきたいです。
I'd like to know what is the purpose of this third-party verification committee. I believe there were some evidences which were submitted and reviewed in the trial. So is the purpose of this verification committee is to seek solutions to those unresolved issues, the issues that were still unresolved in the trial? What is the purpose of this verification committee's work?
どうぞ。裁判の中では、争点っていうのが責任問題に関してだけなので、そういう誰がどのように動いてそういう問題が起きたかっていう細かいところまでは裁判の中では時間もないですし、争点ではないので、そういうところは細かく調べるということはありませんでした。
During the trial, what was at issue was the responsibility of the owner and the managers of the facility, and therefore, the very detailed investigation about who did what and what happened, and what led to that particular incident, was not really investigated in full details partly because of the lack of time.
娘が亡くなってから私たち夫婦で警察の方に止められたんですけれども、自分たちでできることをやってそこで働いてた方とか関係している議員さんとかに会って、業者さんとか会ってお話を聞きに行きました。そこで私たちが思ったのは宇都宮市もこの場でちょっと言いたかったのは、この事件は、行政の汚職によって忖度癒着によって人一人が亡くなったという事件だと私たちは確信を持っているから、本日ここに来てこの場でこういう発言をしようと思ってきました。
After our daughter died, my husband and I, began researching, investigating about the incident. Although the police stopped us doing so, but we anyway met various people, the former staff members at the facilities, or the assembly people of the city who have had some connections. And we also interviewed some people from the vendors for the facilities. And as a result of such investigation, we firmly believe that this is the incident where one person died because of the collusion by the administration, that is the city of Utsunomiya, with some other parties concerned, and because of it, the one person died. And that is our firm belief. And we wanted to convey this to you. That is why we have come here to talk about this.
具体的には私たちが開示請求を請求して、たくさん出てきたんですけれども、だいたい2万枚ぐらい集めています。他の都道府県からも集めてるんですけれども、その中にトイズは、建築法も違反してまして、二方向避難階段というのが絶対に必要なんですけれども、それを作れる構造になかったんですね。で、そこで口利きをしている議員さんの内容が記載されている書類が出てきました。
More specifically, we requested the information from various sources, and actually we got many documents as a result of our request. About 20,000 documents we obtained through this request. We also requested some documents from other prefectures too. And in this case, of this particular case, Toys is the name of the facility where my daughter died. And they actually violated the construction law in Japan, in which daycare facilities should provide for two different kinds of routes for evacuation, for emergencies. But actually the building was not structured in a way that allows two different evacuation routes. For example, we also found some documents indicating that there were some city assembly people who were involved in providing some benefits, favors to the facilities.
平成21年から23年までの間、二方向避難階段について設置義務があるという旨の通達が託児所の方にありまして、で、これを何とか改善してほしいというふうな内容だったんですけれども、その後にある議員さんが口利きしている書類が見つかったんですけれども、その方が建築家の方に、宇都宮市の建築家の方に出向いてその二方向避難階段のことについて話し合ったというふうな記録がありました。その後に平成24年25年にはもうその指導が消えていました。
Okay, for example, about this particular issue of these two routes, actually it's two stairways for emergency evacuation. And in the year 2009 through 2011, the city actually notified the facility, Toys, of the need for responding to this need for providing for two routes for evacuation to stairways. And after that, the one city assembly person contacted the city's construction department about this particular case. And they had a meeting about that particular issue. And after that, in 2012 and 2013, there was no longer this notice or the guidance provided by the city to the facility. That we found through searching the documents that were revealed to us through the request for information.
でここで比較になるのが他の託児所なんですけれども、同じ宇都宮市内の同じように二方向避難階段を取れない託児所には同じ市役所の、建築家の人が立ち入りに行って、高額な金額をかかるんですけれども、その金額がかかってでも二方向避難階段を取り付けるようにという指導をしています。
And we also found that with other facilities in the same city of Utsunomiya, where it was also difficult to provide for two different emergency evacuation stairways, then the staff members of the construction department of the city of Utsunomiya conducted an inspection of that facility and told them that they have to they have to construct two stairways for emergency evacuation, even if they cost so much money.
はい。Inokumaさん。
多分皆さんすごく細かい話だと思われるかもしれないんですけども、第三者の委員会がね、事故の後にどういうことを調べるかというと、裁判とは違うというか、裁判は誰に責任があるか、誰が犯罪したかっていうことが問われるわけですけども、これ保育に関することなので、どうしてこういうことが起きてしまったのかっていうことをクリアにして、もう二度と起こらないようにするためっていう目的で、第三者の委員会というのを必ずしなければいけないというふうに決まってるんです。
You may be thinking that we are talking about very detailed things. However, the third-party verification committee is not like the trial in court. In court, their role is to find out who is responsible for and who is the offender, who is the perpetrator of that particular crime. Whereas in the third-party verification committee, its mission is to find out why that particular incident happened and how such an incident can be prevented from happening in the future.
なのでこういった施設がどういう状況だったとか、例えばどういう人が保育に携わっていたとか、あとはどうして監査の時に立ち入り調査の時に事前に通告をして、事前に連絡をしてから立ち入り調査をしたのかとか、やっぱり二度と起こさないためにどうすればよかったのかっていうことを検証するので、そういった細かな話がやはり裁判で出てきてなかった細かな話が必要になってきます。でその時に内側のメンバー、内部の関係している人だけで検証するっていうのは、やはりきちんとした検証することが難しいというふうに思います。
And that is why we have to talk about the details about the facility itself, or who were the staff members who were providing childcare at the facility, and why the city informed the facility before going into the on-site inspection and so forth. And these are all necessary in order to find out the ways to prevent the similar incident from happening, to find out what should have been done instead of what has already occurred. That is why detailed things must be reviewed in the verification commission, and that is why the verification committee should not be composed of those people who are insiders, because the insiders will not be able to conduct a proper investigation and the verification.
Senju 先生も
じゃあ簡単に補足というかですね、まず個別の人員が、年に1回移動していってですね、確かに個別の人員は変わっているかもしれないんですが、やっぱり同じ職場、同じ部署における、先輩とか後輩っていう関係であったり、前任者、後任者っていう関係があるということになりますので、やはり実のあるですね、厳しい検証というのは、構造的に期待できないのではないかというふうに考えています。
So, of course, the individual workers, public servants in the city may rotate their divisions and the units once a year. However, the unit itself, that is the children's department itself, there are people who are working in that particular unit, and there are seniors and the juniors and the predecessors and those who are doing that job currently. So given such backdrop, it will be very difficult. It's difficult to expect that the insiders conduct a very rigorous verification.
はい、一旦、ちょっと短いお願いします。
宇都宮市のあと検証委員を頼まれた方にもちょっとお聞きしたんですけれども、もし宇都宮市に検証をしている最中に何か宇都宮市にとってマイナスな内容っていうものが出てきた場合、全部話せるかという話を聞いたんですけれども、やっぱり宇都宮で商売してたりするととても言いづらいとはっきり私聞いていますので、やっぱり外部の第三者に入ってもらわないと公正な検証ができないのかなと思っています。
I actually talked with one of the persons who are asked to serve on this verification committee, and asked that person whether he or she is going to say something that is unfavorable to the city of Utsunomiya. And the answer was that it's going to be very difficult for me to do that because I'm doing business here in this city. Therefore, with such composition of the committee members, it would be very difficult to expect fair investigation and the verification will be conducted without the presence of outsiders and the third-party members.
はい、ありがとうございます。他の質問ありますか？はい、どうぞ。はい。
すみません、栃木テレビの綱川と申します。1点質問させていただきたいんですけれども、去年の3月に本来であれば検証委員会が開かれる予定で、そこに待ったをかける形で、去年の5月に市に申し入れ書を提出するという形で委員会のメンバーについて公正で中立ではないということを訴えられたと思うんですけれども、その後市からの回答はどのようなものだったかっていうのと、今の現在のその話し合いの進捗状況を教えていただきたいです。でそれに加えてその提出からもう1年以上経っていますけれども、そこまで今時間がかかってしまっている主な要因があれば教えてください。
And this is Tsunakawa from Tochigi TV. And in March last year, the verification committee should have been established. But before that, you submitted the statement to the city in May last year, saying that a fair and the neutral verification committee cannot be expected. So what is the answer from the city to your statement? And what is the state of negotiation right now between you and the city? And more than 1 year has passed since you submitted your statement. And what do you think is the reason why it's taking so much time?
どうぞ。
はい、そうですね。まずですね、どういう状況に今あるのかということだと思うんですが、基本的には完全に平行線ということになっておりまして、市の方としては、あくまで、判決のみを、元にですね、事実関係の調査を終わらせて、でそれを1回の会議だけで終わらせて、しまうということで回答を得ています。
About the state of the negotiations with the city right now, our views just don't converge with the views of the city right now. The city maintains that they're going to conduct the investigation of the facts solely based on the ruling of the trial of this case, and that they are going to do that in just one meeting.
で、今後なんですが、一応民事裁判がですね、6月の末に、28日ですかね、確定しておりますので、これを一つの節目としてですね、どこかで妥協点をですね、お互いに探ることができないかということで、交渉を、続けていくという予定です。
Since the ruling of the civil case was handed down and finalized on 28th of June, so taking that on as an opportunity, we'd like to seek where we can possibly come to an agreement with the city. And with that aim, we are going to continue our negotiation with the city.
ありがとうございます。他の質問どうぞ。
読売新聞の割田と申します。よろしくお願いいたします。先ほど千住先生のお話の中で、検証委員会の事務局として市の職員が入っていることが適切ではないというお話があったかと思います。一方で検証委員会の委員についてお伺いをしたいのですが、この検証委員会の委員は先ほど山口さんが少し言及をされていましたが、市が子育て施策等を検討するときに設置をする市子ども子育て会議の中から5人の委員が選定をされています。そこについては今回問題として、認識をされているのかどうかというのをお伺いさせてください。よろしくお願いします。
And this is Arita from Yomiuri Shimbun newspaper. So to Attorney Senju, you mentioned that the fact that the city's staff members are involved in the running the secretariat is not appropriate. And what about the members of the committee? As Yamaguchi-san has just referred to earlier, I believe that the 5 committee members are chosen from the city's children and child care conference, which is an organization that is established by the city. And do you think that selection from that particular structure is appropriate?
では私からはですね、その手続き面の問題について、述べたいと思うんですが、やっぱりその検証委員会の事務局が、その委員をもうすでに選定をしてしまっているということ、つまり誰を委員として選ぶかということに、その密接な関連性を有する組織の職員がですね、関わってしまっているということは、非常に問題ではないかというふうに考えております。
From me, I'd like to mention the procedural side of the issue. So already the secretariat of this verification committee has selected the members of the committee, and the fact that those who are closely involved in the child care administration has selected the members of the verification committee, and that is problematic, I think.
OK ですか。はい。どうぞ。はい。
北海道新聞の西村と申します。先ほど日本語避難会談のお話があったところなんですけれども、これは要するに違法建築のまま今も続いているっていうことなんですけど、もう少し詳しく聞きたいんですけれども、どのくらいの数の市議会議員がこれ関わっていて、何人ぐらいの市役所の職員が関わっているのか、またこれは何かの法律に抵触する可能性があるものなのか、その性質についてもう少し詳しく教えていただけますか。
So this is Nishimura from Hokkaido Shimbun. So you mentioned about this issue of providing for 2 direction emergency evacuation stairs. And that facility was in violation of the construction law in that regard. Does that state still continue at this facility? And also, how many city assembly persons were involved in this particular issue, and also how many staff members of the city hall were involved, and is there any possibility that their involvement will be a violation of law in any way?
議員さんの数はどのぐらい関わっているのかっていうのがちょっとわからないんですけれども、私の知る限り上層部の方も関わっているということがちょっと聞き取りで分かっています。それは根拠はなぜかということなんですが、このトイズの事件で関わっていた当時の保育課の職員なんですが、3名います。
Okay, so how many city assembly people were involved? I don't know, but as far as I know, I understand that there were also people in the leadership of the assembly who were involved in it, and I know that from the hearing that I conducted. And the reason why I'm saying this is that because there were three people of the daycare, childcare division of the city section who were involved in this particular facility, which is called Toys.
通常こういう自分が関わったこの3名の方が関わった内容で、こういう死亡事案に関連するようなものに関わった場合、降格するのが普通だと思うんですけれども、彼らは3人とも昇進しています。そういうところから市の職員のそのポジションを上げたりできる人物となると、私たちは当時の市長以上のクラスの人が関わってるんじゃないかということで、本当は今まではちょっと言わないでということで言われてたんですけれども。
Yes, because normally when there is this kind of death incident occurred, then these three people who were working in the child care department division will probably be demoted because of this particular case. But rather, all three of them were promoted after the incident. And when you think about who will be in a position to actually promote those city assembly people after such an incident, I can only think of it is probably the mayor or above who have the power to do so.
市長クラス以上の方が関わっていると私たちは思っています。それで当時自民党の重鎮になると思うんですけれども、その方にちょっとお名前は出せないんですけれども、その方にお願いをして、どのような関わりがあったのかというのを確認してもらいました。そしたらやはり特別扱いはされていたということで私たちも聞いています。
And so we thought that it should be a mayor or above who the person who is more powerful than mayor probably who were involved in that. And so we asked one of the LDP persons, members of the assembly, who were one of the most influential persons at that time, and I cannot reveal their name here. I asked them to do some investigation, and then they told us that there was indeed some special treatment for this particular facility.
この託児所を経営してた木村久美子というのが娘を死なせた張本人なんですけれども、その託児所の経営者の親 父親がですね、元自民党議員で、当時の市長と知事が議員の先輩であるというところも関係あるのかなと思っています。また先ほど日本語非難会談の件で口利きをしている議員さんに直接問い詰めたんですけれども、その際に、大学の先輩後輩であると本人も事実を認めております。
その先輩後輩というのはどなたとどなたが？
ごめんなさい、さっきの日本語非難会談の件で口利きした議員さんが大学の先輩後輩。
誰の？
木村久美子の父親の。
父親の。はい。And this this facility, daycare facility, was run by a person named Kimura Kumiko, Ms. Kumiko Kimura, who was actually the person who was responsible for my daughter's death. And her father used to be an LDP assembly person. And he was he was also the acquaintance of the mayor and the governor of the prefecture at that time through their connections through the same university that they attended. So I suspect that there may be some relations, between them. And about this particular issue of two-way emergency evacuation staircases, I actually asked that particular assembly person who who gave favorable treatment to the facilities. And that person said that he knows the father of Ms. Kumiko Kimura because they attended the same university. They're, the senior and the junior relationship through the same university.
はい、後でも個別で、もう一つの質問がありまして、もしその間にオンラインで来た質問を、先に、しますし、その後残ってた質問に、お答えください。I have a question coming from Keiko Kurane, who is a freelance journalist, and she's asking two questions. One is for Yamaguchi-san. Based on your personal experience, what support do you feel should be provided to parents who have suffered the loss of a child due to abuse or neglect in daycare centers?
はい、その間にオンラインで質問をいただいておりますので、まずそれについてお答えをいただきます。フリーランスの倉根恵子さんからの質問で、山口さんへの質問です。ご両親にお伺いします。このような形で虐待ないし過失、保育園の過失ないし虐待によって、お子さんを亡くした、ご両親に対してどのような支援策があるべきだというふうに、ご経験からお感じでしょうかという質問です。
私たちの場合、あくまで私たちの場合になるんですが、精神的なケアが一番必要だったなと今にしたら思います。
Well, I'm just, I can only speak from my own experience, from our experience, but looking back, I think the support to psychological care was something that was needed most.
娘が亡くなってから精神科とか行ったんですけれども、精神科では薬を処方されるのみで、根本治療にはちょっとつながらなかったので、やはり同じように子どもを亡くされた親の入る会に入ったんですけれども、そこですごく悩みを分かち合えて、とても精神的に助かりました。
So I actually sought help from the hospital However, they only prescribed drugs and medicines, and that was it, and that didn't lead to any treatment in a fundamental way. So I joined the Association of Parents who lost their children, and by attending the meetings, I was able to share my feelings with others who have had the same experience. And so that was a great help to me.
はい、ありがとうございます。もう一つの質問。There is another question from the same Keiko Kurane, freelance journalist, for Inokuma-san. What specific measure would you recommend implementing to enhance the overall quality and oversight of daycare centers with the aim of preventing future accident and abuse and neglect?
はい、もう一つ倉根さんからいただいている質問、これは猪熊さんへの質問です。こういった虐待あるいは過失によるこのような事件事故を将来防ぐために保育所の質を高めるあるいはその監督の質を高めるためにはどのような措置が必要であるとお考えでしょうか。
はい、やはり誰でも登録をすれば開けてしまう認可外の保育施設というのが日本では許されてるんですよね。ただもちろんいいところもあるっていうふうにおっしゃる人いるんですけども、私はやっぱりそこはもう窓口を一つにしてやはり同じような方法でみんな監査を受けたり補助金をもらって運営したりっていうことができるように統一したシステムになっていく必要があるというふうに思います。
Yes, I think these non-registered childcare facilities, which can be opened and run by anyone, is a problematic system. Of course, some people may say that there are very good non-registered childcare facilities, but I think as a system, there should be a uniform system for childcare facilities. And those care facilities should be run in the same ways and should receive the same audits and inspection and receive the subsidies from the government. So there should be a uniform system for childcare.
ありがとうございました。もう時間になりましたけれども、もう引き続き他の機会を設けて保育園とかでの問題点あるいは認可外と認可保育園の違いとかについていつか記者会見させていただきたいと思っています。はい、どうもありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much. So we hope that there will be some other opportunities in this FCCJ that we can talk about the issues relating to Japanese childcare facilities and also the difference between the registered and non-registered childcare facilities. Thank you.